been wanting to do this video for a long time. So just after Easter, 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. 6 weeks after my first daughter was born. I was 23. So what happened was it's still a little bit hard for me to talk about, but so what happened was, when I was in hospital with my daughter, I had found that I had some lumps in my neck, and they were just on, see where this scar is right here, just here, so my collarbone's right there. So I had a big one just here, and another smaller one up a little bit further up. So it was kind of big enough where I could cup them with my hands eventually, like with the top of my fingers. And so when I was still in hospital with my daughter, I was in hospital for 5 days because I had an emergency cesarean, but that's another story. She was overdue and I was induced and she wasn't coming, so they gave me a cesarean. So what happened was, I asked a midwife if I could see a doctor so I could get them checked out or whatever, and the doctor came and seen me, and she was only like a baby doctor, so she wasn't a cancer doctor or anything like that. Like, obviously they didn't know what it was at the start, but she had a look and she had a feel and she said they definitely felt like lymph nodes. And at the time, she made it so it didn't really seem like it was much to worry about. I mean, I just had a baby, and you know, so it wasn't worrying me too much. I mean, to be honest, cancer and things like that is probably the last thing on your mind that things could be. I mean, that's like a worst case scenario kind of thing. So I never in a million years would have thought that, you know, it was cancer, for God's sakes. So I plodded along, and we had a baby Sahara at home. And come her 6-week checkup, I seen my doctor, and I thought I'd, you know, ask again. So I asked again, and when he was feeling them, I knew from his face, like, he wasn't, like, you know, he knew it wasn't good. You know, you just know when you see their face. And so he immediately had me book in for an ultrasound and a scan. I can't even remember, like, there was two different, I know it was an ultrasound and something else that I had to go for. And after I had that done, it was about a week later, because it was really hard to get, so close to the Easter period, it was so hard to get a appointment for the ultrasound and this other thing. Alright, as I'm talking, I'll probably remember what it was. But so I had that done. About a week later, I went back to see my doctor, and he had all the results and everything, and it wasn't good. So it turned out I had enlarged lymph nodes on top of my in my neck, like the obvious ones. So I had like a pearl of enlarged lymph nodes, and I had an enlarged lymph node in my chest, and I had an enlarged spleen. So what he did is he called Flinders for a appointment to see a doctor there. So I seen a specialist there, like, really, really quick, and then they booked me in for a biopsy, because they can't really start anything until they know exactly what they're dealing with. And I have to tell you, the first one was like a mini biopsy that the doctor organised on the day, and that's where they just, like, they put, like, well, it's not like a biopsy, it was just like taking samples from my neck, and it was just like, you know, a normal syringe, and she was pulled fluid from the lymph node that was above here. So it was uncomfortable. It was no more painful than any other needle, but it was just scary, and it felt like a little bit of pressure because it was, you know, an abnormal lump. So she actually what was the worst thing about it is that actually she had to put it in a needle in there 6 times and took like 6 different samples, so it was like 6 different like little dots in the area. They booked me in for a actual biopsy, so that's when they I had to actually have an operation, and they also took bone marrow from my hip, like when I was asleep, and that's when, you know, they could work out what my treatment was going to be. And so when it was all diagnosed and everything, it ended up being I had stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So we started treatment for that very quickly. So I remember Easter weekend was just before I had the biopsy, which is what caused this scar on my neck right there. And Sahara was just like a little baby still. And I remember going to my Auntie Coral's place for that Easter. Yeah, I had like this little bandage on my neck and stuff. And then after Easter, I was starting my first treatment of chemotherapy. And yeah, so that's how that all came about. And yeah, I started my scrapbooking in that year. I couldn't tell you exactly if I started before, a little bit before or after Sahara was born. Yeah, that's how it all came about, and I started scrapbooking my journey. So cancer has been, you know, something that is part of my life. So scrapbooking and that was kind of like a therapy for me, and so I kept a diary and I used some like diary entries in my scrapbooking to help me express, you know, what I was feeling and everything. So I continued doing this kind of thing for 10 years now. So that's what I do. I like to scrapbook and card making and all this crafty stuff, and it just helps me through some of the, you know, harder days. What I've been working towards for a long time now is trying to set up my own craft area or scrap room. So what I want to do is try and raise some money to either buy myself a caravan that I can transform into my own space, and so I can have other people come in with me and scrap with me, or whatever, you know, as like a support group, or just a space that, you know, I can call my own, and yeah, spread out, and just a space where it's a safe space where other people might be able to come and, you know, scrap together or do craft together. I'm trying to raise money to build that dream. So I have set up a GoFundMe page, and if anyone's interested in helping me achieve my dream, it's there, links down the bottom. I really hope you can help me build my dream.